Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ray, and we are here to jump into episode 6 of The Wheel of Time, season 3. So, last episode was quite a doozy. We kind of ramped down from the lore-heavy episode 4, which focused primarily on Rand and Moiraine, and then episode 5, we delved into Teleran Riyadh, which is, of course, the dream dimension, the dream world, with Egwene, and a little bit with Lanfear, because we all know from season 2 through to season 3 that Lanfear is a master when it comes to Teleran Riyadh, and she's been tormenting Egwene this entire season. And while simultaneously attempting to continue to seduce and groom and mold Rand into the perfect whatever, like Parmore, pet, whatever you want to call it. And then it ended with that gag-worthy moment between Egwene and Lanfear where they lock eyes as Rand is becoming reacquainted with Lanfear in his dreams. Finally, after kind of... It's tough with Rand because it's hard to get inside of his head because we don't see a lot of his POV like we do in the books. And obviously in the books it was very different. Rand didn't have quite as intimate a relationship, or anywhere near as intimate a relationship, with either Lanfear or Egwene in the books. It was a very different scenario. So this one is like everything is just a mess. But I like mess, so I'm down with it. We also had that really lovely sequence where Egwene was kind of seeing all of her friends and family's dreams. Very invasive. Very invasive of Egwene. Very... don't trips about people's, dreams. It's kind of like reading somebody's diary. It's like that kind of a violation, Don't do that. Don't do that. But it's Egwene's first time dream walking, so, I understand that she was curious and she's getting used to her new power and everything. But unfortunately, it ended with her stumbling into Rand and Lanfear, so oof. We also have the Tanchico team finally in Tanchico. All 4 of them having major beef with Liandrin. So we're going to get hopefully some really fun, interesting Aja hunting scenes with those 4. Nynaeve and Elaine being like the 2 main Black Aja hunters in the books. I'm really, really excited to get into their hijinks. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I know it. Injecting Matt in there and Matt and Min's buddy cop routine into that, it's going to be a lot of fun because we got like basically 2 buddy cops. That's what Elaine and Nynaeve are. They're kind of like buddy cops. And we got the same with Matt and Min. So it's just going to be hijinks and I'm ready for it. I'm ready. All right, let's just jump into episode 6. Let's go. Tanchico, 95 years ago, when Liandrin had her baby.
Like
Oof. It's fucking terrible.
Like screaming? I said quiet,
A baby taking care of a baby that she birthed is disgusting. Fucking awful. Yeah. Again, I was like, you know what? Kill everybody in this house. Totally valid.
Liandrin,
Totally valid.
that's your name.
Twice.
Is this going to be when she first channels? I think this is going to be when she first channels.
Drowning.
And she's going to either kill or just push back both of these guys. Oop. Oh, killed him. Yeah, killed them both. fuck them. Take their money. Let's get the hell out of here. Yeah. Absolutely. Is this when she also becomes a dark friend? Because if I remember correctly, Liandrin was a dark friend before she got to the tower. Is she gonna see Ishamael in her dreams? Because Ishamael was in the seal, but he could reach out. Like, yeah, psychically. Yeah, I knew it. I knew it! Because his seal was cracked, so he could slightly reach out in dreams. Remember all throughout season 1, he was reaching out in dreams.
Would you like some help?
Let's not ever forget, Ishamael was out here working for like hundreds of years, even though he was sealed up. But he had an imperfect seal. I can't remember, it was like it wore out over time or something. I can't remember what slowly started to break the seals. But it was like slowly wearing down, or just the Dark One's, you know, influence, or, you know, the wheel itself. So she's dreaming, clearly, that she is the Amarylline seed, but still red. Hilarious.
You've been slippery since you left the tower.
Lady Lanfear.
Our sisters sworn to the shadow is too fine a prize for the others to overlook.
Yeah.
Ralphin will have gotten to one of you. Someone who thinks she's cleverer than she actually is. I would have assumed it was you.
Yeah, it's not her. I think it's maybe Naomi.
When I have her, kill her. Or next time I visit your dreams, you'll wish you had.
I admire the confidence, but I think this might be a bit more apt.
Whatever the Black Khazra are doing, they won't be doing it lawfully. They'll need thieves, smugglers, criminals.
So, we'll go to the night market. Matt, you find a card game, start talking to people and see what you can find out. And Min, you use your visions.
Nynaeve and I will handle anything that requires a bit more subtlety.
Is she always like this?
Oh yeah, both of them.
Telling you, man. Not him using the one with the most beads to show his price. Hilarious.
I'm sending a little surprise. Let him handle it. I know that's difficult for you.
Where are we going? I was looking for
This is so messy. Lanfear is out here making moves. She got Liandrin on the hook. She got Moiraine and Rand on the hook. She is out here, bro. Out here. I respect it. Lanfear's a great antagonist. I definitely like her better in the show than I did in the books.
She's studying with the wise ones, learning about our people as you should. Since Shadowdeath, so the water doesn't dry out. We know more than just how to dance the spears.
Yeah, it's a whole society, Rand, that have lived here for thousands of years, as you know.
These are my squashes. You see how fed they get?
Wow, you're taking very good care of them.
I know.
So training to be a maiden and a farmer. But I mean, I mean, he said that because he has the memory of them actually farming back in the day.
I could use your help there.
You handled yourself well enough, Outlander. Well enough.
I love Avi and Rand scenes. Oh yeah. Oof, they coming back from that disastrous raid. All of them fucked up.
This poultice will help ease the pain and slow the infection.
The girls are here. With Natty.
My father, he always said a leader can either take care of the living or weep for the dead. Not both.
Interesting. Interesting saying. I don't necessarily disagree. Oh, God. Welcome back, Pat and Fane. We missed you, baby.
What's a man to do to get a peek behind that veil?
The best secret to reveal is the face behind a lady's veil.
I know it's desolate. I told you about something about here.
Not Matt flirting. He about to.
Oh, like this would be for a man, big strong man such as myself.
He's goofy as hell. He's like, ooh.
A little silver number.
Let me show a little of these this cleavage.
This, if you can find me something like that.
Yeah, I hear that voice. I know who that is. Is he gonna have the coat? The you know, Gleeman's, you know, coat, jacket, whatever? He is! He does have it! Don't interrupt the song, though. And I love that he's singing a song about the Horn of Valais.
Already cost me too much. Yeah?
That was totally fair, because they did skedaddle. They was like, he's dead.
What was it that you taught me?
Not stealing his money.
The best life lessons, they often cost the most. Come on.
Memories in his head.
His business and mine.
So glad we got this time together. You scowling?
I'm not.
You're always scowling, baby.
Is that just my face?
You really would make a great Aes Sedai.
Oh, don't get her too loose, though.
Thank you.
Holds. You know where I am.
Now we got information on where they stand.
Jane Kyder marries that man.
Nah. She kills him.
You probably pause. I'm going to be honest. You saying that probably set that man up for his death, because he's probably going to see her again and try and chat her up, and then she's going to kill him. Because you gave him the confidence to try and approach her because he thinks that he's going to marry her. Oh, buddy. Like, oh no. Tough. I don't know if Min realizes that or is going to realize that over the course of this, you know, storyline, but oof. Okay, let's go back.
Jane Kyder marries that man.
Nah. She kills him.
Now, what is she up to? Fucking weirdo. I love Mogedius so much. It's fucking weirdo. Just messing with people. Got it. Then again, you have to make sure that your will is stronger than theirs. Oh. Oh. Now you're not in your dream anymore. Oops. She love this little torture wheel or whatever. I see she's a little erotic with everyone.
No, let's be honest. Woman to woman. Rand doesn't know what you are. Oh, he does.
No, he definitely does.
You know that.
Can't hurt you. She can't. You understand me?
Let's try again.
All right. Let's do it. Let's do it to it. Why is Lampert so... like, maybe you guys should kiss about it? I don't know.
What do you mean?
I feel as if it's drowning me. I feel as if when I submit to it fully, I'm going to be washed away entirely and nothing's going to be left.
Don't submit.
Saidin and Saidar are not the same.
Is this... What? Hold up. Is that the first time we got in the main story Saidin and Saidar mentioned? I think it... Well, no, we had it in the Age of Legends because if you listen closely to the... when they talk about... when they talk in the Old Tongue, you can hear them say Saidin and Saidar when they talk about it. Like, if you go back and listen to, like, episode 8 of season 1, when they were talking, when Latra was talking to Luz Therin, and then, again, I want to say, there were a couple other times in, where was it? It wasn't season 2. I think it was here in season 3, you hear it, in Ruidian for sure. But you hear them say it, and you hear Saidin and Saidar. So anyway, let's keep
away
going.
entirely, and nothing's good.
Don't submit.
Saidin and Saidar are not the same. The male
It's the one power. If the Ayu and the Forsaken have taught me anything, is that the Aes Sedai don't know everything about it. Reaching out for it.
Ooh, like right now. Ooh, chill out.
Run.
Run. Calm down. It's okay. Well, that was intense. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Interesting. It's interesting. Okay, I'm going to pause because I want to talk about that a little bit. Obviously, in the books, there's a lot of gender essentialism in the books, which, you know, was of the times in the 90s. We all know. And so, it was as progressive as, well, I don't want to say as progressive as it could be in the 90s because there was a lot of stuff that was progressive in the 90s, far more so. But it was more progressive than other things from the 90s. Let's say it like that. But there still were some trappings of, what it was like to be an older white man in the 90s. Like, Jordan, I love him, but sometimes some things about his life would bleed into his writing, as it should, because it's his writing. And it was very, gender essentialist sometimes. But it's interesting to try and approach the concept of Saidin and Saidar from a more modern lens. Now that we kind of have more of a broader understanding about gender and sex and our relationship with gender expression and the way biology works is different, 30 years on than it was, so how do you take a story that's so deeply embedded in gender essentialism and extrapolate a more modern meaning from it? And I'm not sure, like, up until now, I feel like the show has just kind of mostly skirted around some of the gender essentialism. And I feel like this is the first time that we're really kind of talking about it. Because you have this idea of saidin and saidar, you know, the two halves of the one power, wielded by men or by women, etc. And the way that you would wield the one power is different if you're a man or a woman. We don't, there's only one brief kind of almost discussion about what happens if you are, I don't want to go too deep into book spoilers, but there is a character in that like attempts to address like almost, I don't think it was intended, but it almost tries to address a trans experience. A storyline that almost tries to address a trans experience. I don't think it was necessarily successful, but I'm also not trans myself, so I'm sure there's a trans reader out there who can kind of, or gender non-conforming reader out there who can kind of approach that topic a bit better than me. So, but I feel like in the show, we're probably going to get more exploration of that. But the way it works is that there's a male half and there's a female half. And the male half interacts with the one power by, like I said, taming it, taking control, force, etc., yada yada. Aggression, if you want to consider it, control. Whereas the female half is about surrendering. It's about etc., which we've seen the discussion come up every now and then in the TV series. I mean, the opening scene with Egwene was her surrendering to the river. She was expected to throw herself in and let the river guide her to where she needed to go. And that imagery is how it's expected for women to control the one power, right? And then you continue that imagery, especially with water, for the way that women channel throughout. Even up to the last episode where we had the seafarer woman, I say seafarer, but sea mistress, talking about the way that a wave finder, you know, interacts with the one power. And she's trying to coach Nynaeve that it's you can't control the sea. I think that the way that the sail mistress talked about it was less like surrendering to the sea, so much as it was not trying to control something, control the uncontrollable, you know. But then we have this conversation again here with Moiraine talking about, you know, because she and the White Tower has learned that way to channel as well. She's trying to do the same thing with the Sarkarnan, but the Sarkarnan is literally the most powerful sa'angreal in the world. There has never been a more powerful sa'angreal. And so it would allow her to channel so much power. Not the peak of its power, because she is not the strongest channel. So the way sa'angreal work also is that it will like double, triple, quadruple, whatever, however many times your power. But if your power is at this level, then yeah, it'll temporarily bump you up to the most powerful channeler as possible. But if somebody whose base power is more powerful than you gets that same sa'angreal, theirs will be tripled. So like, Moraine's power will be tripled. I'm not saying that this Sarkarnan triples it. It could be like times 100, times 200, whatever. But I'm saying if it was tripling, she could use the Sarkarnan, triple her power. She'll be probably close to, or perhaps, let's see. I don't love power ranking discussion too much, but I would say she would get to about the same level as Lanfear, maybe a little bit more powerful, if it was tripling or something like that. But if Lanfear were to get hold of that, she would be fucking unstoppable. Like, sorry. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. If Lanfear is using this Sarkarnan, it's a fucking wrap. because Lanfear is so much more, her base power is so much stronger than pretty much anybody any female channeler in the cast. And so it's interesting to have Rand and Moiraine have this conversation about their different ways of interacting with the power. And you see that the tendrils of, I control the power, it's always there, and I have to stay tense and keep controlling it, or it's going to wrest itself from my grasp and it's always calling to me, yada, yada, yada. It's like a pull and it's like a drug almost. The way Rand talks about it. And then you have Moiraine talking about surrendering it, but feeling overwhelmed because it's more power than she's ever channeled in her life, you know? I like that idea of her taking his understanding of the one power and the way he interacts with it and what he's seen now, having experienced so much with Lanfear directly, with Ashamael directly. Because remember, Ashamael and Lanfear have both, Ashamael especially has shown him some of how to channel, you know, and his experience in Ruidian, all of that has given him a different perspective about the one power. And so it's interesting to have this idea that Moiraine could gain knowledge from a male channeler, and probably a male channeler might be able to gain some understanding from a female channeler. And in blurring the lines there, where yes, the way you channel might be a little different. There's many ways to be a woman after all. There's many ways to be a channeler. But you can still gain insight into your own power by studying, by understanding somebody else's experience, you know? And I think that's the kernel, that's the core of that, the conversation, is that, yeah, you don't know everything. The Aes Sedai don't know everything. They actually are very ignorant about a lot of things, which is why we have the shit show that we have in the White Tower. Like, we need to, like, stop pretending like the Aes Sedai are the end-all be-all when it comes to the one power, history. They don't know a lot of stuff. And because they're so arrogant, they're so up their own asses, they don't want to admit that there's a lot of things they don't know, you know? So I like the idea of that, kind of blurring the lines of some of the gender, you know, discussion of gender and the discussion of the relationships between different genders in the story. So anyway, there was a long conversation. I'm sure this is like 5-10 minutes of me just talking about how I feel about the way the show is portraying Saidin and Saidar and our relationship with the power, men versus women, etc. So I might cut some of that. Who knows? Or maybe I'll just leave it all in. I don't give a fuck. Might as well. All right, let's keep going. Whew, we got a lot of time left, so it's quite late for me. So
It was me.
in the heat of battle,
I killed her.
killed her.
She chose to fight. Did she fight well?
She did.
Yeah, she was getting in with Trollocs.
The get of the living. I always think to myself that it still means something that I didn't swear the oath.
There's so much darkness in this wildfire. But when I look at you, all I see is light.
That was deeply romantic. Oh, Perrin. Oh, God. Now he's in here feeling sorry for himself because he's like, yeah. Y'all burn this woman at the stake and her body is still fucking hanging there. Like, please. I was a good man. Nigga, you joined the KKK. Like, you joined join the fantasy KKK, brother. Please. Be serious. Here we go. Pat and Fane.
What happened to you? Oh. Ran into some trouble with some Trollocs. Nothing we couldn't handle, of course.
Chico,
Elsa, are you sure?
do you know it? Or don't you, old man?
Old man.
All
I
right.
do.
Well, go on then.
Training to be a gleeman. We're not going to talk about the relationship between Elaine and Tom in the books. Because it was funny, but it also got weird real quick. And then it was funny again. So let's keep it funny for the show. Good thing that they know each other and get cover. So we're building our team in Tanchico. And now Nynaeve is drunk. This is about to be a fucking mess.
You're chosen to help me. Because I'm going to become one of them.
Oh. Yeah, I thought it was her who was, you know, teamed up with Robin.
You're spun. Good. You're back.
She just saw her absolutely murderize one of her team. She's like, ooh, am I next?
This time. The hunt for the horn. Just an excuse to get away from Saldea. Or are you actually serious about it?
Of course I'm serious about it. I'm going to find it, too.
You definitely will if you
so
stick with
funny?
me.
Sorry. I can't let this go on.
It's already been found.
Pass me that.
It's already been found and blown. He's got the picture of Matt blowing the horn that he brought back.
I meant to give it to his sisters, but
we really got to stop telling people all of our shit, though.
And that
It's the horn of Valir.
Yes.
The actual horn of Valir. Are you telling me now?
There was never a good time.
Let me go on and on about that light-blasted horn.
Perrin, Aybara. That's not fair.
A shut-up kiss? Who doesn't love a shut-up kiss? Ooh, he's still injured. Careful. Careful. I like Perrin and Fael, even if some.
I'm sorry for interrupting. Heard you needed some healing.
Looks like he's doing okay. Awkward. This is a fun episode. I mean, other than the stuff that's really fucking terrible.
That's really pretty.
Min and Nynaeve on a date. Min and Nin on a date.
We know where Liandrin's staying. The old Nunok Manor. Apparently she painted the place red a few weeks back.
Oof.
Coming?
He's like, hey, baby.
Sorry, I didn't find your
Thank you.
All right.
Sorry.
Is that the second bracelet? Are there two collars as well?
Being such an expert in Terrebonne history, I'm surprised you don't know about the shackled man of Tanchico and the collar around his neck.
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming it was created to try and control the last dragon, or maybe one of the men who could channel during the Age of Legends. And so they were trying to find some way to stop the male excuse me, stop or control the male Aes Sedai to keep them from breaking the world. And so they came up with like one of the most horrifyingly terrible fucking things possible. I'm guessing, because I don't remember much about this from the books, about the collars. I remember the collars and this part, like Tenchico and stuff like that, and trying to find a collar for the dragon and all that. But I don't remember the like history of the collars as much, other than Aes Sedai created them. But I'm wondering if, like back in the day during the Age of Legends, that's what they would have been trying to do, trying to find a way to stop or control the male Aes Sedai and male channelers in general, because it's not just male Aes Sedai, it's all channelers, all male channelers that were the issue. And so they would have come up with this kind of fucking terrible, desperate after however many, however long of the breaking, where fucking whole surface of the planet would change every time a male channeler, especially a powerful one, lost it. Like suddenly there'd be a fucking earthquake and a giant chasm in the middle of the, middle of a city. And now suddenly this whole area is a fucking island. Like shit like that was what was happening. So, but anyway, they would have created it. I'm guessing that the reason that this particular collar needs 2 women is that, again, we're getting back into that idea of Saidin and Saidar, and in the books, technically, male channelers had more raw power, but female channelers had more finesse with the one power. So, like, they technically kind of balanced each other out. Like, men had access to more raw power, but they couldn't do, like, the more subtle channeling. Whereas, like I said, women had more finesse, but they didn't have as much access to raw power. So, like, the strongest man and the strongest woman didn't have the same power access, but because she was more deft with the power, skill would kind of even them out. That's the theory. So, but I imagine the thinking is that for the dragon, you probably had to have at least 2 people controlling the dragon. Because he'd be too fucking powerful for pretty much any female channeler, maybe outside of Lanfear. Because Lanfear is like the peak, most powerful, channeler, female channeler alive, right? I think Semirhage, is that how you say her name? I think she's around the same level as Lanfear, but I think it's implied that Lanfear is more skillful, so that puts her ahead of Semirhage. Because I think they're on the same ranking, but Lanfear is considered to be the peak of the peak, as strong as you could ever be as a female channeler, pretty much. Anyway. So I don't remember much about it, but I imagine that's probably why they created those, and it kickstarted some horrible fucking ideas, because I'm guessing that they created the male Adam first, and then once they created that fucking idea was out in the world, and then they created the female Adam. And then you had that one Aes Sedai that created the female Adam, and then it got kind of passed down through the Shanshan, Anyway, let's keep going.
And a collar around his neck.
Didn't he tell you it was dangerous here in the world of dreams?
Wait. Who are you?
I'm nothing.
Don't worry about that.
The spite that you wipe off your skirt and never think about again. So, go on. Tell me what you came to tell Robin, and I'll report straight away.
So Naomi wasn't the one reporting to Robin. I'm guessing probably all of them. Now it's making me think that all of them have a secret Forsaken that they're talking to, not just Liandrin. Because Naomi probably was, because she did kind of intimate that she knew more powerful people or Forsaken. And she didn't deny it when Liandrin said, I don't have a need for a chosen, etc., etc. But yeah, either way, it's definitely she's the one that's probably talking with Robin.
So, go on. Tell me what you came to tell Robin, and I'll report straight away.
Well, she's gonna be waking up dead in the real world. All right, so how many sisters were there? 5 sisters? So we're down to 3. Right?
So, tomorrow we race outside the Lunart estate.
And watch where Liandrin goes next.
But I do.
Good. There we go. Oh, buddy.
In my time, we would have beaten that out of you. Come, sit.
Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. This is a mess.
Do you know where he is? The dragon.
But we'd tell you if we did.
Yes. Yeah. Have you found out anything else about this bracelet or corner?
This is so weird. Like, I love it, though. This is how compulsion is, bro.
Go on, fetch it for me.
She's resistant.
You're fighting me. I like it when he doesn't get what he wants. And you. You've both proven yourselves to be very useful to me tonight.
What were we talking about again?
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Here we go.
I don't remember. We were on...
Your cheek.
There was a woman. She had the wrong woman. She left.
No,
think.
she did not.
God, my head is throbbing.
Yep, something happened. Something fucking bad. Oh. Let's have this conversation. Woo! Messy.
Egwene?
Did he never turn around? Did she jump out of the dream and he never knew she was there to see him in Lanfear? Because, yeah, it would be... because he didn't even think or bring it up all throughout the day where he was with Avienda. So, clearly he doesn't know any... Because he would have immediately probably tried to go see Egwene. Oh, bro. Maybe he just doesn't know what happened.
Egwene?
She's a Forsaken.
Or maybe he does, and he was just waiting for her, because that's what he does. He always waits for her to come to him, because
told you.
She gets pissed off when he goes to see her too soon.
Sorry.
Sorry for what exactly? For lying to me?
He did that 100%.
For betraying my trust? Or for sleeping with a Forsaken?
Kind of all of the above.
How could you be such a fool?
There's so much that you don't understand. About me, about all of this. I wish you could.
You're with her.
I don't know about every night, but maybe.
For you.
You met the wise ones, and you haven't given me a second thought.
All right, Rand. All right, Rand.
That's what you do. And that's what you've always done.
All right, Rand. I mean, he ain't wrong, but he also is out of line. Like, this is out of pocket. Like, you're totally right. Like, yes, of course. Egwene's personal ambition is more than just being with you, Rand, which is completely fine. Which is complete. Her goals and her dreams are not necessarily aligned with you or with yours. And that's completely fine. This is why you guys broke up in the first season. And then trauma happened. And so you started clinging to each other again because you're being nostalgic, because you're familiar with each other, etc. You do love each other. You do clearly care for each other, but it's just not in the same way. We get it. And every time that something happens that presents Egwene with a new path, she goes for it. And that's fine. That's what's good for her, you know? You can't blame her for that, though. Like, you know this about her. You can't blame her for that. What you were doing was fucking crazy. That's dangerous as shit. Her wanting a career and not necessarily wanting to be with you as strongly as you want to be with her is like, you know, obviously not great for a relationship, which is why you guys should have broken up a while ago. But it's not dangerous. You not telling her about Lanfear is different. That's dangerous. That's deadly. It's deadly. The situation with Lanfear is a little bit tricky because he was clearly being groomed all throughout season 2. And he's still being groomed even right now. But, and it's clearly like a toxic, terrible relationship. Fucking terrible. And he doesn't have much choice because last time he tried to break up with her, she threatened to murder Moiraine. Let's not forget that. So it's a tricky situation. He can't quite say no to her, to Lanfear, but he also is trying to live within that restriction, right? Like, he can't say no to her, but he actually started to fall for her while they were together before he knew she was Lanfear, when she was Selene. So he has all of those emotions mixed up in there. And then as he's learning about her as Lanfear, he's starting to see things about her as Lanfear and as Moiraine that he finds attractive. Like, he is attracted to her, but it's all mixed up in this, you know, kind of icky, abusive, toxic relationship that he also has with her. Like, and even when she was Selene, it was very toxic, but, you know, we ain't gonna talk about that, I guess. So it's a very complicated situation with Rand. So I have sympathy for him, but you can't pretend. I understand why he couldn't stop seeing Lanfear for a variety of reasons, but you needed to tell Egwene and you need to stop seeing Egwene. Like, you should have stopped seeing Egwene and you should have been honest with her. I can't be with you right now. But then Lanfear also kind of put the stipulation that Egwene was not to know about her too. So he couldn't tell her. He couldn't tell her about Lanfear either. It's tough. Yeah, because Lanfear has all the control here. She has all the control here. So if he tells Egwene about Lanfear, Lanfear is going to kill Egwene. If he barely managed to be back in the acquaintance of Moiraine, and I think the only reason that Lanfear allowed it and didn't immediately murder Moiraine is that she knew she would lose Rand completely there, but also Moiraine became somebody that's useful to Lanfear. She's now a useful tool. So all throughout season 3, and a little bit at the end of season 2, Lanfear has believed that she can control Moiraine, and that she's not just controllable, but her and Siuan can be useful tools to further her own agenda, you know? So she's kind of allowed it to happen, but she can't. Lanfear's not going to feel that way about Egwene. Because Egwene, like, regardless, Rand is not attracted to Moiraine, at least not in this turning of the wheel. He's not wanting to stop Moiraine. So there's no threat there. But Egwene and Ron, they do have a bond, and Ron does love Egwene. And so Lanfear can abide that. So even if, theoretically, Egwene might also be useful to her, that part of it, the fact that Rand has loved her, will tip it over to, nope, gotta kill her. So, yeah, it's tough. It's a tough situation. So, I think that him saying this to Egwene is messed up, though, regardless. Like, all the truth is out there now, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. And let's be honest. And you can't hold her under some kind of, like you can't pretend like she's in the wrong because she wants to pursue a career. When the reason that you're in the wrong is because you're fucking somebody else, you lied to her, and the person that you were fucking is Lanfear of Forsaken. The levels of betrayal are not the same there, bro. Yours is much higher. Let's be honest. That's kind of a yes. Oh, it's definitely not the madness. No, it's just him. It's just him being a dude.
That's easier for you to swallow than believe that.
It's definitely not the madness. He's just a man. He's just a man, girl.
We both know the truth, Egwene.
That this is not working.
I'm not enough.
It's true. Because her fulfillment is not really about a man. It's about herself. It's about her own dreams. Yeah, that's true. Fair. Because now you know that her being with you was nothing to do with being the Dragon Reborn, because he's the Dragon Reborn now, and she's just like, you're not wrong, because I'm sure once it gets out that he's the Dragon Reborn, he's going to have tons of women wanting, like, crazy, I don't want to say crazy women, but like women who aren't afraid of the dangers of being around a male jailer. They might be all up in there.
I'll always respect that about you.
Yeah. It's kind of what he likes about. He kind of is drawn to women who are kind of independent and powerful. That's what he likes, but unfortunately, it's just sometimes they're just not compatible with him. He's like, what?
What she was doing to me this whole time.
What is she doing to you?
What are you talking about?
Don't lie to me, Rand. Don't lie to me. Where the Sultan tortured me.
Yeah.
It was your Lanfear. It's been her this whole time.
Yep. Yeah. Lanfear was crazy work from her. And now he's pissed.
I didn't know.
And there she is. Oh, no, that's somehow. All right. Oh, fuck! With the Shido!
You've gotten soft, loose there.
Yep. And there's Avienda. She put her veil up because she's killing with fire spears. Oh, you better believe. Oh, God. I genuinely wasn't expecting this. I remember the Shido, like the Shido attacking, if I remember correctly, but not... No, I remember, no, Samael was part of it. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Oh, God. Yeah, and there's the corruption. Oh, and he saw Samael's beads, and obviously there's no corruption there. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Now, did we kill Samuel? Or is he still, you know, there?
Sarah. She was upstairs.
Oh, shit. Did he bring the house down on her? Oh, God. Is he the one who did that? Or was that somehow? Or just a combination? Just unfortunate. Oh, fucking hell.
No.
Tough.
Breathe. Breathe.
Oh, it's tough. Can't do that, baby. Can't do that.
What does the prophecy say? What does the prophecy say?
Tough.
I bring destruction.
I think it's gonna work.
Breathe. Sarah, breathe.
Don't accidentally make her some kind of monster. It's okay. You gotta let it go. You gotta let it go, baby. Tough. Jeez.
To war. Whether he wants to or not.
Yeah. Here we go. I think this is the end. Woo. What an episode, y'all. That was a great fucking episode. Oh, we had so much happen. We got to see Ishamael again. Let's talk about that. That was fun, right? We got to see Ishamael again. Always happy to have my boy back in play. I love Ishi. Evil ass Ishi. Love him. So he's the one who we knew that Liandrin was working with Ishamael. Because in season 2 we saw Liandrin send men to lead Matt over to, where were they? Kyrian. And then Min found out that the person that she was meeting was Ishamael, and she realized that Liandrin, that in that moment she realized that Liandrin was a dark friend, and that Ishamael, obviously as a Forsaken, she was accidentally slowly being recruited into being a dark friend herself, and then she had to make a choice. So we got to see that here. We got to see the first time that Liandrin used the one power, which I really fuck both of them. Like, this whole place is so awful. We saw another child ride even here later on in the episode, like somebody being carted off, and it's like, ugh, like, fucking terrible place. Terrible place. Ugh. So we also saw the statue, the statue of the two women collaring the man in the center square. Liandrin was under it, and that, of course, later comes into play as we learn more about the collar used to collar men. Two of the Black Ajah down for the count. We've got Naomi dead. We've got, what was her name? Ispin, I think. Ispin dead. I think there were only 5, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to remember. There was Jane, Liandrin, Naomi, Ispin, Jane, and then there was a yellow sister whose name I don't remember, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so we're down to 3. The scene, the compulsion scene between Moghedien, Elaine, and Nynaeve. was so good. It was really well done. The way that, you know, she approached it, and like, hey, we're just 3 girls having a girls' night, you know? And they're just like giggling, and she's like controlling him that way because she's a freak. And we got to see Moghedien just going around pranking people and shit, just doing nasty shit to people. Like, what if I like spit in all of your food? Just goofy shit. Just her being goofy. Fucking Moghedien. And then but she's still dangerous. She's still, in fact, a Forsaken. So she's also like goofy and scary at the same time, which I like. Oh, fucking terrible. Fucking terrible. But we saw Nynaeve resisting the compulsion, because we all know how stubborn and intense Nynaeve is. So she was able to at least briefly resist compulsion. She also, I think, is going to probably be the first one to realize, to break through the memory piece of the compulsion. Maybe not fully, but she's going to know that something is wrong about the fact that somebody came to their door. They don't really remember. It's very vague. And then after that, she has a cut cheek and the collars and the bracelet is missing. Come on. She's going to put 2 and 2 together. Honestly, Moghedien was playing around with her, but I think cutting her cheek was probably it's probably going to be actually one of the giveaways. You know, that was something that I think if Moghedien had a little bit more restraint, instead of feeling like she's completely in control, she shouldn't have done that part. She's just being, you know, her. And I think actually that's the part that's going to give her the most away. We met up with Tom again. Love seeing Tom Merrilin, of course. I like Tom Merrilin. I just wasn't... it's tough because in the books we met Tom Merrilin in like the first book. He was one of the visitors in Two Rivers when the Trollocs attacked, and so when they went out on the road, Tom went with them, and so he was like part of the adventures and stuff like that. So they shifted him back, but like I understand why they pulled him out of the story. I think last season he was supposed to appear, but the actor wasn't available, and instead of recasting him, they decided to just adjust the story. So now he's meeting up with them again. Matt's here, so Matt obviously knows who Tom is, and so you can kind of very easily reintegrate him into the story by having Matt there, because he also knows Rand, and Elaine is also there, but Elaine wouldn't want to bring him into this whole, you know, Black Ajah, Dark Friend Hunter kind of scenario. She would just know him as the guy who occasionally, you know, the court bard, like from her mother's court when she was younger, you know. So it wouldn't naturally, like, she wouldn't naturally trust him with like this kind of dangerous mission stuff. Whereas Matt knows Tom from literally saving him from a dark friend and then traveling with him and Rand and protecting them from a fade. Like, so his relationship with Tom is a little bit more in line with what they are doing now. So that makes sense to me. But we did get some fun scenes in Ted Chico. We got Tom and Elaine putting on their Gleeman and Gleeman's Apprentice act, and the song from Elaine, which was really nice, like a little folk song about Ted Chico. We also got Nynaeve and Min bonding and just hanging out, getting drunk together. Matt flirting his way through the room with these dudes and coming upon this guy who has the bracelet. Okay, slight book talk here. Do we think that was Matt's Taviranness coming through? The fact that the guy that he started to flirt with ended up being somebody whose dad had one of the bracelets. That feels like a Taviran thing to me. That feels like that was some Taviran shit happening that he doesn't know about. but is happening around them. Like, we got to remember, if you've read the books, you know what a Taviran is, that the pattern weaves around, you know, like, weaves around Taviran. They can influence the pattern, you know, to different degrees. Some Taviran are stronger than others, etc., etc. Obviously, the strongest Taviran in the series is Rand, who's like an extreme Taviran. But in the story, all of them are, well, Matt, Perrin, and Rand are. But in the show, Egwene and Nynaeve are now also Taviran. So you get Matt and Nynaeve. Technically, we have 2 Taviran working in Tenchiko right now. So with the combined efforts of both Matt and Nynaeve being together here in Tenchiko, yeah, I can absolutely see that being kind of a byproduct of his Taviranness, and both their Taviranness, maybe even. Although, I guess in that room, only Matt was there, so it's probably just his. I love the idea of them just blending in, and him deciding to use the veil that he said is like a higher price or whatever. Like it's so funny. Like, he's just having a goofy time, and then here comes Moghedien. But yeah, no, I loved all the Tenchiko scenes. They were great. They really, really worked for me. And we're still here, so we're gonna be here, I think, for the rest of the season. We're gonna be in Tenchiko until through the last 2 episodes, I'm thinking. And I think it's going to culminate in a battle with Liandrin. Maybe Moghedien as well. But we just kickstarted the Moghedien and Nynaeve arc. One of my favorite arcs from the books, by the way. I don't want to go into spoilers in case book show-only watchers are watching me, but let me just say, love those 2 together. It's real fascinating. It's one of my favorite Nynaeve arcs. Let's just leave it like that. What else did we get? I think that's everything I want to talk about for Tenchiko. Other than, I think that was probably my favorite stuff from this episode, was all the Tenchiko stuff. I almost wish we could have spent more time there, frankly. Let's switch over to 2 Rivers. So we have a deepening, you know, bond happening between Perrin and Fael. Like I've mentioned, I like Perrin and Fael. They aren't my favorite couple from the books, but I like them. I'm hoping that the stuff that I didn't like about them can be smoothed over in the show somewhat. I don't want it completely removed, because I think that part of their it's so hard to talk around it, but the stuff that I didn't like about them in the books is not necessarily bad. It was so much of it. And so I'm hoping that since we're condensing a lot, it'll be less annoying, because it won't go on for as long. I think that was the biggest issue with some of the stuff and storylines for Perrin for me. I think I've mentioned in a previous episode, previous reaction, that I love Perrin, but his storylines are often the most boring for me when it comes to the books. And part of it is that I feel like they stagnate more, and they just kind of repeat over and over the same kind of beats. And I don't know, he just doesn't have necessarily my favorite storylines. But I'm hoping that the show will improve on that, because they are condensing so much of it down to 8 seasons. Or at least that's the plan, for 8 seasons. So I'm hoping that I'll like it more. And I'll like Fael and Perrin more. I guess we'll know if we get to the Barrelane of it all. We'll see. Maybe we'll get Barrelane in season 4. and then I'll have kind of more of a gauge for whether or not I'll enjoy their storyline going forward. But they have good chemistry. I like them together. I mean, I don't really base my enjoyment of a couple purely on ideas of chemistry, because they're so subjective. Like, I can see chemistry where somebody else doesn't see any, vice versa. So that's never an end-all be-all for me when it comes to judging relationships. Chemistry is not objective. No matter how much people online try to pretend like it is, it's extremely subjective. It depends on the mood that's set by the show, the lighting, the music. It depends on a lot of things when you create chemistry in either a scene, partnership, not always romantic, but any other platonic chemistry is also a thing. Familial chemistry, all of these are things, and they're created a lot of time by music, by ambiance, by mood, by lighting, etc. Even visually, from like color visuals, like can also create ideas of chemistry. You know, a color palette of a scene, the way their clothes are designed can also make you feel like there's certain people are matched pairs or belong together, things like that. All of that goes into the ideas of chemistry. And then a person brings their own bias. So anyway, sorry to go on a tangent about chemistry, my belief about chemistry and visual media, but I liked them together. I thought they had some good conversations. We kind of got to know more about Fael. That's another thing, is that I don't remember too much about Fael, other than, you know, obviously I know who she is in Saldea, let's say that. And I remembered she was from Saldea, and I also remember some other things. But I'm not going to get into that. But I like the conversation she had with Perrin about like finding out that her mother was a dark friend. Like her mother sat her down, like she was going to like, hey, yeah, I'll be a dark friend with you. And both her and her brother was like, nah, no, we're not evil. No, thank you. And she ran, and her brother stayed and tried to confront their mom, and then got killed. Unfortunately, it's tough. It's tough. It's a tough beat. She now knows about the horn. Like, truly, we really got to be careful about talking about the stuff that like could get everybody killed. Like the way that the team like doesn't know when to share information and when to keep information close to the chest. Like, like be more cautious. You know, I know that he's starting to fall for Fael, and so that's why he felt like he could trust her there. But let's have a little, you know, discretion. But yeah, no, I love those scenes between the two. So I'm looking forward to more from them. Like I've said before that I don't love the way Robert Jordan does romance, especially the lead up to a couple or, you know, pairing, whatever we want to call it. But I see his vision in most of his pairings. Like, there aren't really too many pairings from the books that I absolutely hate. Actually, I don't really hate any of them. Even the controversial ones. We all know the most controversial one. I don't even hate that one, actually. I know that's crazy, but like, and it's like, you know, obviously you see different people online and everybody's like, ugh, this is the worst pairing ever. And I'm like, it wasn't for me. It's fiction. It's a book. It wasn't the worst pairing for me. Anybody who's read the book knows the pairing that I'm talking about. I don't really hate any of the pairings. It's just that I don't love a lot of them. I don't want to say a lot of them. I don't love the development of a lot of them. I think the only pairing that I just wasn't feeling. Oh no. We all know that in the books, Siuan and Moiraine have a slightly different dynamic. They're still lovers back in the day, but they aren't lovers currently. So both of them have different pairings, just straight up. I didn't love either of those, although I think I liked Moraine's more. Whatever Robert Jordan was trying to do with Siuan wasn't it. Like, that's probably the only one that I like weirdly, outwardly, seriously disliked. Which is crazy because we all know the other pairing I was just talking about that was super controversial. I don't hate that one, actually, and I don't really hate Siuan's pairing, but I didn't love it, and I thought it was like uninteresting. The other pairing that I mentioned, spoilers, I guess, Matt's pairing. It was extremely controversial, as it should be, but I just thought that the dynamic was actually super interesting. I just thought they were interesting. They're just interesting. And they did, unfortunately, they just didn't have time to develop into anything even more interesting, which they could have. But, you know, we got to the end of the series, and then Robert Jordan passed away, and then without finishing the series or finishing the sequel that he was going to do that was going to focus on Matt. So we didn't get any of that, unfortunately. So it didn't have, that pairing didn't have the opportunity to evolve in the way that I think it would have. We may get some of that more in this series, in the TV show, so I'm hoping that they can do some really interesting stuff with Matt's pairing. We'll see. It's going to be hot on the message boards once we get to that for the show onlys. It's going to be hot. People, we are going to see so much discourse when we get to Matt's pairing. They're going to be online, buddy. Online. You're going to see every single take there is. Oh, it's going to be ridiculous. All right, let's talk more Two Rivers. We have everybody coming back from the raid wounded as hell. Wounded as hell. And so we have Alanna being healed by Matt's sisters, both of them being channelers, and she was absolutely right. There's more to be gained from the people of the Two Rivers than one might think on the surface. And so we're building up to a battle with the Two Rivers folk against the Trollocs that, guess what? Padan Fain has brought through the gates. We've got Padan Fain back. I wonder if he was, I mean, we've had him throughout season 1 and 2. He's just been kind of in the background, not as active, but we've got him hidden among the White Cloaks, which is of course from the books. He was disguising himself as a White Cloak for a little while. It's also a little bit tricky because you want to have the actor, but you don't. In a book, it's easy to just say he looks like somebody else, but in a show, it's a visual medium. So unless you cast a different actor and then say he's Padan Fain, you have to say that it's this actor, and you have to come up with a reason for why people around him don't recognize him as Padan Fain. Now, for the White Cloaks, obviously none of them would know him as the merchant, the peddler Padan Fain. But the moment he sees anybody in the village, he knows all the Two Rivers folk. Everybody knows who Padan Fain is. So the moment that he shows his face, everybody's going to be like, now how's he going to, like in the books, he looked, if I remember correctly, he looked different. So people didn't recognize him as who he was. And he had a different name and everything, but we, the audience, know that he's Padan Fain. So I'm wondering how they're going to spin it in the show. Are they going to just have him pretend like after everything happened with the Trollocs that he joined up with the White Cloaks and became a White Cloak? Or is he going to have a helmet on or a mask or something whenever he does the raids into the Two Rivers? Or, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how he's going to spin it, but I'm actually very curious to see how they're going to play it. Because like I said, it's harder to do. There's actually a lot of face swapping and body swapping and stuff that happens in the Wheel of Time. I don't want to say a lot, but it's enough. People disguising themselves, people who look differently, literally, physically. Like I said, body swapping sometimes happens. So it's harder to do in a visual medium and with actors that you are attached to, the viewers are attached to. There's a few that I'm very curious how they're going to handle that happen later on in the series. There's some body swapping and some face swapping and stuff like that. I'm very curious how they're going to handle it, or if they're going to write it completely out, or if they're going to cast, like, you might just have to just bite the bullet and cast a new actor, but then you're always going to be comparing it to the previous actor. There's some really prominent characters who body swap in the show. and we are really attached to them as these actors. So it's gonna be tough to try and find somebody who has the same aura, you know? That's hard. That's hard to do. So I don't envy the team trying to figure out how to handle stuff like that. So we'll see. But I can't believe the White Cloaks. We got Pat and Fane, we've got Valda, and we've got fucking Dane Bornhold. All three pieces of shit. Pieces of shit. All together, being pieces of shit together. Circle jerking each other over the killing of these women. Like Dane sitting there under Natty Cauthon's burned corpse. Talking about, I'm a good man. I was a good man before I met you. Nigga, you joined the fucking KKK. Please. Please. You joined the fantasy KKK. Get out of here. Like, cannot believe. Like, anyway. That's enough Two Rivers talk. Let's set that aside. What else do we have? What else do we have? Liandrin and Lanfear. That was such a good scene. Lanfear, we got to see Liandrin working all throughout the episode. All the little puppets that she has, all the little toys that she's been playing around with. We got to see all of them. It's interesting. There's almost a parallel, and this is like episode 6 too. There's almost a parallel to that episode in season 1 where we saw Moiraine, like Moraine's, you know, a day in the life of Moiraine, where we got to see her being an Aes Sedai fully, and her going around pulling on all of these threads that she had, and you know, we got to know her and Siuan for the first time in their relationship with each other. We got to see Moiraine not just out, you know, in the woods trying to wrangle these kids, but we got to see her as a full Aes Sedai. What is she like as an Aes Sedai on her territory, in her realm, let's say. So we got to see, you know, we got to follow along with her in episode 6 of season 1. I feel like we got some of that here. Not as strong, not as, I don't want to say not as strong, not as much in this episode, but we did get to see like Lanfear going around. We got to see all the different plates she has spinning in the air. The Liandrin plate and whatever's happening over there. We got to see, you know, everything come to light about her machinations, however you're supposed to say that, with Egwene and Rand. Also, she's playing Moiraine. Like, she's out here juggling. She's also trying to block and compete with the other Forsaken. So, you know, there's all of that happening with them. Yeah, it's tough. It's interesting. I like the idea of it, though. I think we needed maybe one more scene of her doing her thing, in order for us to really get a similar, as strong of a parallel between this episode and season 1, episode 6. But it still was there. I noticed it. Speaking of Lanfear and Moiraine, that scene on the beach, where Moiraine is coming to Lanfear with new knowledge from Rhuidean. And Lanfear knows that. Lanfear knows that Rand and Moiraine went into Rhuidean and they came out changed in some way. They're changed. They're different now. They understand more. They understand something differently. And she can feel it. Like, I feel like Lanfear can sense it in both of them. And I think it's actually making her nervous. Like, she can see that there's something that happened to them both there that has slightly loosened her grip on them. Yes, Moiraine is afraid of her now, but also there's this kind of knowledge, I think, from Moiraine, now that she knows that Lanfear, she has to die in order for Rand to live. I think we're seeing her not just come to grips with that, but having a different perspective about Lanfear now. You know, like, obviously she watched Lanfear slit her throat like 50 million fucking times. As like payback for that one time that Moiraine slit her throat. So she's afraid, but I think there's like this knowledge that she's not going to die here. Remember what Lan said last episode? You saw in the rings, do you die tonight? And she knows that she doesn't. So there's I'm wondering if we're going to get a little, cocky Moiraine where she knows that she's not going to die tonight. So she can be a little bit more assured. But you got to be cautious because remember what was her name? The wise one. I wanted to say Amiss because she's kind of playing an Amiss role, but it's not. It's Bear, yeah. You had to remember, if you act with too much foreknowledge, sometimes you can mess yourself up. Sometimes you can accidentally create the thing you want to prevent, or prevent the thing you want to create, etc. Which we kind of got a glimpse of with Min and that one guy. I'm pretty sure that Min saying that he's going to marry Jane is what actually gets that man killed. But we'll talk about that later. Well, we'll see if it happens in the next episode or in the finale, but I'm thinking it's going to happen either next episode or the finale for sure. But anyway, back to Moiraine. I think she's trying to navigate this knowledge that she knows. I think she has decided exactly which one of her visions she wants to use for her death. I think she knows which one she wants. And she's decided which path she's going to take. And because of that, I think that everything that she's doing with the Sakarnan, talking to Rand, is about achieving that vision. I think she has chosen which one. I don't know. It's just something, a feeling, a vibe. I don't know. I have absolutely nothing to back it up, but just a feeling. I think that she knows which one of her visions she wants, and she's trying to figure out a way to get to that, and she's trying to play it carefully. But yeah, interesting stuff. What else? We had the scene. So, let's talk about this. I'm like 2 hours into this reaction. This is gonna be a long one. Sorry, y'all. We had Rand and Egwene, and I talked about it in the moment, so I don't want to rehash the stuff that I already said about how I feel about Egwene's ambition versus Rand's need to have her, and the argument between them, which, both of them had points, but I think Rand was a bit more out of line there. We also have this final piece where they kind of know that it's over. I think it's definitely over and going forward. Yeah, we're not getting any more Rand and Egwene going forward for sure. But we have this final piece where Egwene needed to know, did Rand know what Lanfear was doing to her? And the truth is, he did not. He did not know. Although, I think he probably should have tried to suspect it. He should have suspected it. Because Lanfear is Lanfear. And all of the stuff that has been plaguing Egwene this whole season has been stuff in her dreams. The fact that he hasn't thought about that, he knows from last season that Lanfear has been in Egwene's dream before. Because he begged Lanfear to take him to Egwene's dream once. So he knows she can get in there, obviously. The fact that he hasn't suspected it is probably because she's just been, keeping his mind busy whenever he's asleep. He hasn't, And to be fair, Egwene having nightmares about being enslaved would be completely reasonable. So I think he just really overlooked it, unfortunately. Now, do we think that Egwene believes him when he says that I genuinely did not know that she was messing with you? I hope she does. I'm hoping she does. Because he didn't know. I think they probably should have at least suspected it. But in truth, he didn't know. And he absolutely would have tried to confront Lanfear if he'd known that she was messing with Egwene in her dreams like that. He absolutely, because he's done it before. You know, he's confronted Lanfear about Egwene before, which is honestly probably super infuriating to Lanfear. The fact that he has defied her specifically for two people, Moiraine and Egwene, before. And so that's why she's so laser focused on them and their influence on Rand and trying to sever that so that she can isolate him and control him more. Because, you know, as I've mentioned before, they have a very toxic, abusive relationship. It's very much grooming. But yeah, he absolutely would have confronted Lanfear about that. I mean, I don't know if he could do anything about it, but he would have confronted her. He would have tried to, you know, stop it in some way. I'm sure we're gonna get that conversation soon. He's absolutely gonna confront Lanfear about the way that she's been hurting Egwene in her sleep, and he'll probably tell her that, you know, we're not seeing each other anymore. You know, I'm sure. Yeah. All right, let's delve into Rand. Man, what a fucking episode for him, huh? He was going through it. It's tough. He got to talk a little bit about his power, about how he feels about the one power, the way it works with him, how difficult it is for him to not reach out and touch it. And obviously he's mentioned before earlier in the season about how that feels like. It feels like, you know, everything. It feels like life. It feels perfect. And then the corruption. And then the taint. And you get the way that it's both nectar of life and also poison, you know, at the same time. And now we get this idea that it's always calling to him, is always drawing him in, and that it's actually taking everything he has at every moment to not reach out for it. Actually, so like he's been constantly at war with himself to not channel, rather than it's not a case of him trying. It's like the opposite of Nynaeve, which they're paralleled a lot in the book, so that makes sense to me. But it's the opposite of Nynaeve, you know, where Nynaeve has to find a way to get herself to channel, whereas, or at least on the surface, that's what has to happen with her. And Rand is always constantly trying not to channel, you know? So they're both really tense because of that. But in two completely different ways. Then we get this really lovely scene with Avienda showing him around the hold. And we get to see the gardens where they grow their food. And we get to see Elsera as well with her squash, her wall squash. And she's training to be a maiden. And then, of course, she gets murdered. And it is very murky. It is very nebulous or ambiguous. That's the word I'm looking for. It's very ambiguous whether or not Rand is the one that accidentally killed her. Oof, tough. But I'm pretty sure it was Rand. I'm pretty sure it was Rand losing it and starting to channel and like causing basically an earthquake to crush everybody that was attacking him. And I think he accidentally crushed her. Ugh, he's gonna have so much trouble with that. Obviously that is a scene, and then him like losing his shit and trying to heal her from death and trying to like revive her. Ooh, and pouring every bit of his power into her, and you can hear her bones cracking. This little girl, tough, rough. Oof. Yeah, that was a scene. That was a scene that was in the books. It was in Tyr, right? When they were launching an assault on Tyr, right? He lost a little girl there, a little Aiel girl there, right? If I remember correctly. It's been a while. It has been a while since I read these books, y'all. I do not remember everything completely, but I'm pretty sure that happened in Tyr with Kalendor, and he was like wielding Kalendor or something. I can't remember 100%, but yeah. But the scene of him trying to revive somebody back from death, and then, you know, even as the Dragon Reborn, even with all your power, You can't do this one thing. Yeah, tough. I love seeing Avienda using the one power, but like a spear. Because at the end of the day, she's a maiden of the spear at her heart and her core. So she pulled her veil up and everything. She pulled out the Aes Sedai. Well, not Aes Sedai. Jesus, that was sacrosanct. I'm sorry I said that. The Channeler spears. Love that. Love her using the one power like that. Probably not a good thing, but I'm sure the wise ones are going to have some things to say. But, you know, in the heat of battle, you do what you got to do. You do what you got to do. Let's talk about that battle. Like, suddenly Samael was there, and I'm pretty sure Samael just fucking died. Like, woof. But he's also the weakest of the Forsaken, so, you know, shit happens. He was with the Shido, I'm pretty sure. I mean, he was with the Shido, I think. I just can't remember. I know in the books, one of the Forsaken was with the Shido, but I couldn't remember if it was Samael or somebody else. Wasn't it Asmodean? Or maybe, was it Damodred? I can't remember which one was disguised. Asmodean, right? Asmodean was working with the Shido, and sorry, this is all book talk. And wasn't it Asmodean? It was somebody. One of them was working with the Shido, and then Couladin had 2 dragons. 2 dragon tattoos, and it was like a whole thing where he was basically a false Carcarn. Not really a false dragon, false Carcarn. Because technically, the dragon and the Carcarn aren't necessarily the same person. They could be. Theoretically, the Carcarn could be somebody who's separate from the dragon. But, you know, in this turning of the wheel, they're the same person. But yeah, there was like a whole storyline. I think it was Asmodean, though. I hope they're not replacing Asmodean with Samael. We need Asmodean. I think it's either going to be Asmodean or Damodred, and I personally want it to be Asmodean, who's our final male Forsaken. I want it to be Asmodean, and he can absorb another storyline from one of the other Forsaken, sure, but I want it to be Asmodean. I want an evil bard. I want an evil bard. I just like the whole idea of it, and the relationship between Asmodean and Rand, and I just liked it all. So, I certainly remember it more than Damodred. Sorry, I barely remember anything about Damodred. Sorry. But I remember Asmodean. Anyway, that's a whole tangent. Do we think Samael is dead before we got to see him do anything? Like, he literally showed up this season just to fucking die. So far. Well, then again, he was dressed like Shan-Chan, with the bones and everything. And there's a more interesting Forsaken Shan-Chan connection than Samael. So I actually, if that's the way they decide to play it, have Samael die immediately from Rand. And then introduce the other Forsaken who was working with the Shan-Chan, and just focus on that Forsaken as the Shan-Chan connection, then I'm okay with that. Because that Forsaken, I'm trying to be vague, but that Forsaken is far more interesting than anything that they could give us from Samael. Just dead ass. Like, sorry. Yeah. So I'm wondering if that's what they're deciding to do there. All right, we're going into the next episode, final 2, the penultimate. We've got the White Cloaks about to attack the 2 rivers. We've got, what else do we have? We have us closing in on Liandrin in Tenchico, but we've lost the bracelet, so we've, 2 steps forward, 1 step back there. But we're building our team too. We've got Nynaeve and Elaine. We've got Min, Matt, and now Tom. And all 5 of them are now working in Tanchico together. We got the whole band together. So I'm excited to see more there. What else do we have? And then we have the attack on the hold. I'm sure we're going to get the fallout of that. Because I'm pretty sure that was the Shido. And so we are going to have a really interesting scene between the Ruach and because Ruach just lost his grandbaby. Oh God, Ruach, Bear, and what's her name? Leanne? Yeah, his other wife, Leanne. They just lost their granddaughter. Oof, oof, oof. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. All right, we're gonna end it there. I have been talking for like 2.5 hours, almost 2.5 hours. So let's cut it off there. Let me know what you guys think. How did you feel about this episode? It was action packed. Oh, it was packed with a lot of storylines. Really liked it. I liked the action scenes. I've been really loving this season. The season 3 has been a step above for sure. I have liked this show from the beginning. I'm not one of those people who didn't like season 1, but you could see the things that weren't working in season 1. You know, like when you take a step back, there were things that just didn't work in season 1. Season 2 was demonstrably better, but there were still some things that didn't work, especially in the last like 2 episodes, especially surrounding Nynaeve and Rand, actually. I think some of their storylines just didn't work for me on a larger sense because like when I look back on it now, having watched it back in 2023, I think I liked it more in the moment, but I've also now had time to think about it, about what I liked and didn't like about season 2. And I didn't hate Nynaeve's story like some other people do. You know, obviously I love Nynaeve. She's my favorite character. But I think that there are things they could have tweaked with her storyline to make it better. Same with Rand, actually. But this season, I've loved everybody's storyline. Like, I've not had a single problem with anybody's story. Only thing that I have a problem with is that I think that this show needs to be at least 10 episodes, if not 12, per season. And I think Amazon you need to give them more money so that they can have more episodes. Because they need more breathing room. That's the only thing, but that's true of the entire show. This show needed to at least be 10 episodes, if not 12, in order to truly let some of these characters and scenes get their due. But given that Amazon only gives them 8 episodes a season so far, they're doing the best they can, so I can see that. Yeah. So, but season 3 has been so good. I have loved so much of it. I really, really have. I'm hoping we get a season 4 and we just keep on going on this ride because I'm having a blast. Anyway, we'll go ahead and end it there. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Go over to Patreon if you're interested in full length of this show, as well as full length and early access of other shows. By the time you're seeing this, I will definitely be done with all of season 3. I'm only just now releasing, I'm about halfway through releasing season 2 of The Wheel of Time over on YouTube. So they're very much far behind because I'm far behind because I don't have time to edit as much as I would like. But we're going into the penultimate and the finale, and we're going to finish up here on Patreon first, and then you guys will be seeing it on YouTube much later because I'm putting out 1 to 2 episodes per week for this show on YouTube. I wanted to do an episode a day, but I just don't have time to edit like that. So you're getting 1 or 2 episodes per week. It's not really on a schedule. Sorry, guys. I try to release it roughly at the same time. But, you know, it's ending up what it is, so it's fine. It's okay. You guys are going to get all of it, so don't worry about it. And then hopefully, if we get a season 4, for season 4, I will be able to be a little bit more regular with releasing episodes for that one. So we'll see. All right. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
whatever. All this ever, but you long gone, it don't matter.